The world has changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the earth. I smell it in the air. Much that once was is lost, for none now live who remember it. It began with the forging of the great rings. 3 were given to the elves, immortal, wisest, and fairest of all beings. The first thing I've got to say is Drop really nailed the packaging on this. The map of Middle Earth on the outside of the box is definitely a nice touch. At first glance, the keyboard really nails the Elvish theme and colors. I like the inclusion of the Eye of Sauron, the One Ring, and the Shards of Narsil. I'm personally a fan of adjustable height keyboards, so thank you for including this drop. The chassis is made from aluminum. It has this green glitter look to it. It really captures that Elvish feel. Unfortunately, not all the keycaps are a one-to-one translation from the Elvish script, or Tengwar as I learned to call it, but more on that in a second. Inside the box, you'll find quick start instructions, a white USB-C to Type A cable, a keycap puller, and extra keycaps accented in Rivendell Autumn. Only some of the keycaps are translated to English from Tengwar. This was actually more difficult to determine than you might think because Drop doesn't list this information anywhere on their keyboard store page. In fact, the information is listed on the keycap store page. For anyone who's interested, the translations are on screen right now. So today we're talking about the Lord of the Rings Elvish Keyboard by Drop. And fun fact, if you didn't know it, Drop is actually owned by Corsair, and Corsair also owns Elgato and a few other companies you wouldn't really think of. I recently watched the entire extended cuts of Lord of the Rings, and man oh man was I hyped to get this keyboard. Let me know who your favorite character is in the comments. Drop sells a few different versions of this keyboard. They have the Rohan variant, they have the Dwarvish variant, they have the Dark Speech variant, and they have the Ringwraith variant. Drop is also selling artisan Lord of the Ring keycaps and mouse pads if you're interested in that. The artisan keycaps are $65, which I think is a wee overpriced in my opinion, but it is an official Lord of the Rings keycap. I hear it makes you much better at Counter-Strike 2. So you might be asking yourself, how much is an official Drop Lord of the Rings keyboard? Well, $200 normally and $150 on sale, which we'll get into if the price is really deemed worth it later, or if you're really just paying for the official Lord of the Rings branding. So let's talk about some of the tech specs of this keyboard. It is an 87 key or a 10 keyless keyboard, so that basically means you don't get a numpad. The chassis on this bad boy is a glitter green anodized piece of aluminum, and I actually would have liked to see them use aluminum more on the keyboard in different spots. I don't think you're gonna be, there's no way, like, you're not flexing that. It's a solid aluminum. It's going to be very durable. It's definitely going to stand the test of time, but are you willing to get your nice Lord of the Rings keyboard scratched up in any way? No, you're going to sit there with like plastic wrap under it. If you're buying this, you're probably going to take care of it, so no worries. Drop use pre-lubed Holy Panda X switches. They were actually manufactured by Gateron, but they were designed by Drop. At least that's what it says in their store page. I haven't had any issues with these switches. They seem to be pretty solid so far. The keycaps are an MT3 profile with a small finger indentation. I'm not a huge fan of the finger indentation. I actually don't like the feel of it against my fingers, but that's just me. So there's probably a couple of you out there that will probably like it. This keyboard does not have any RGB. It has a white backlight. And this was a real missed opportunity by Drop because you don't get that magic elvish look on this keyboard, and let me explain here for a second. If instead of them going with the black lettering on the keycaps, they went with something that was slightly more transparent, the light would have perforated through these keycaps and you would have gotten the magic elvish glow that you recognize with the One Ring or other aspects of the films. And this is something near and dear to me. It's the trilogy is some of mine and my wife's favorite movies, so I really feel like this was a missed opportunity and they dropped the ball on this if they just like tested to see if they could make that happen. So all you get's a white backlight. That's it, white backlight, no RGB. deal with it. The stabilizers are drop phantom plates. They're also made by Gateron, and they've been working well. No complaints here. I would classify the sound profile as muted, tactile, and clacky. Here's a short clip for those who are interested. What do you think of the sound? It's not my favorite, but I think it's pretty decent. It's no secret that I like to disassemble things, and I did disassemble this keyboard given the chance. I'll take apart anything. I really do like taking things apart. The switches on this keyboard are not plug and play. So if you want to remove a keyboard switch, you're going to have to grab your soldering iron and you're going to have to remove it the old fashioned way. The cover plate on this is printed case artwork, and it's on it feels like flimsy plastic. I would have, instead of the printed case artwork, would have liked to see matching glitter green anodized aluminum covering the front of this. I thought that would have been a much better look. I know it'll raise the price just a little bit. I would have been okay with it though. I think that would have been a much better look for this keyboard. For $200, you're getting an official Lord of the Rings keyboard with some authentic Elvish keycaps, which is, I think that's pretty neat. However, you're just getting run-of-the-mill Gateron switches. I don't think there's anything special about the switches. You're getting a plastic cover that goes on top, one USB port. Let's do a bit of a price comparison. The glorious GMMK Pro is a fully modular keyboard where you can purchase all of the parts off the shelf at a local Best Buy. Review on this coming out real soon. Subscribe so you don't miss out. To fully build out this keyboard, you'll spend over $300. This is something I would describe as having most the bells and whistles, so keep this in mind as a frame of reference. The Drop Lord of the Rings keyboard retails for $200, but it's based off the Drop Enter, a $100 keyboard. It makes it very hard to justify the price. I think it's worth it if you can pick it up on sale, but otherwise, I feel like you're paying a heavy Lord of the Rings tax. I'd certainly say the Lord of the Rings keyboard functions perfectly fine. If you get this keyboard, it may be a bit hard to learn the typeface at first, but I think any fan of Lord of the Rings would be happy to own this. Just make sure you buy it on sale so you're not overpaying by so much. There's always room for improvement when Drop is going to go make something. If they do a second edition of this, I would like to see the keycaps have a bit of transparency on the actual lettering, so that way we can get the actual glow of the Elvish font. I think that would be a really cool look, and I think it would really sell this keyboard. What other Lord of the Rings tech items would you like to see come to the market? I'm curious what some people's ideas are. Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, I hope you learned something, and until next time, GG.